Hey there, welcome back to another Black Desert mobile video. So as promised, we are back with another video, and this video will be about the PvP, right? Player versus player parts of the warrior, right? So if you're playing as a warrior class, or if you're interested to try out a warrior, okay, we'll start off by checking out some of the important PvP player versus player skills as a warrior that we are using, right? So as you can see, this is a rough overview or quick glance at my PvP skill build, right? So obviously this can be changed, right? This can ultimately be changed up to your personal preference, right? But this is what we are using, right? So to start things off, correct? Firstly, we have spinning slash, right? So this skill is also used for PvE, right? Which is essentially farming, but it is also one of the most or more commonly used skills for PvP as well. Okay, so as long as you get spinning slash up to a high enough level, you should be able to get the consecutive slash option or enhancement option. Right. So what this does is that okay, when your spinning slash is without that additional slash option, right? Or rather that consecutive slash option, right? Usually, right, it is only one slash. However, if you use this option, right, and you hold on to the slash skill button, right, notice that the animation now consists of two slashes, right? So 1 and 2, all right? So this is spinning slash, okay? Okay, so for PvP, okay, we are not using Blade Strike. Okay, I do know of some players who are using Blade Strike to do damage to other players from a distance. Okay, but personally, we are not using this. Okay, so we are just skipping this and moving straight to ground smash. Right, so this is one of the better, right, in my opinion, one of the better PvP skills. Right, whether it's 1 versus 1 or whether it's group PvP. Okay, so for 1 versus 1 situation, as you can see, even though the damage for PvP is slightly reduced, as you can see on the left here, so for PvE, right, it does at level 29, it does 485.14%, but for PvP it does only 425.71%, right, which is still a lot. Okay, one important point about using ground smash is that you cannot be attacked when you are in the air. So it is a good way for you to escape some scenarios, okay, which might be dangerous, right? Especially in player versus player PvP scenarios, right? Okay, so next we have the shield charge. Okay, so this is one of the most critical PvP skills that you need, okay, as a warrior, okay. And you need this not because it does a lot of damage, as you can see over here. It doesn't really do much damage, but what it does is that it allows you to reposition yourself, and also it grants you forward guard, right? So we will see this in action later, and you will understand what we are referring to. Okay. Okay. Of course, next we have one of the grabbing skills of the warrior, which is take down. So take down is a close range grabbing skill. Watch the animation. So essentially, you just grab your opponent and slam him or her onto the ground, right? So once you get take down to a high enough level, okay, you will be able to do a double take down, right? So in order to do this, right, just use take down, and once the opponent is on the floor, just hold on to the button and your warrior will follow up with another take down, right, as shown by the animation. Okay, so this skill is essential and critical as well, similar to shield charge, right? So these two skills are the must-have skills for PvP. Okay, and of course next we have Battle Cry. So Battle Cry, obviously it grants you a buff, right, that adds attack and defense for a small period of time. Okay, but right, it also does a decent amount of damage. Okay, so these two, the damage plus the buff, right, is good for PvP as well. And in certain scenarios, right, it will also cause a knockdown, right, to your opponent, right, or whoever you are fighting against, right. So that is good to have as an added bonus. Okay, so next up, okay, we have Charging Thrust. Okay, so this is one of the skills that isn't really used as a skill that deals a lot of damage, as you can see here, right. At level 30, for example, it only does around maybe 110% damage per hit, right, for a maximum of up to 3 hits, right. So the reason why this skill is also critical is because, right, it inflicts stun on first hit, right, and because it is a charging or dashing forward skill, right, it allows your warrior to close the distance really kind of in a split second, right, almost close to a split second, but closing the distance for a warrior, it is critical, right. We'll see this in action later as well. So next we have Piercing Spear. So once again, this is a skill that allows you to deal damage from a distance. However, do note that if your Piercing Spear is not of a high enough level, you will not be able to use this option or this enhancement option that increases the speed of the animation. For example, if we do not have this turned on, look at the speed of this animation. Right, notice the initial portion of the animation is charging up, and that charging up part of the animation is really slow, right. So if you are not able to have this option, right, so notice the difference now. Okay, yeah, so if you have noticed the difference, right, so now this is much faster in terms of the animation speed, right. So you'll be able to land the hits on your opponent most of the time with the faster animation. So yeah, if you do not have this enhancement option available, do not use Piercing Spear yet, right, because it is really slow. Yeah, right, as you can see from here, yeah, that is really slow. Okay, so next up we have Apprehend, right. So this is the other grabbing skill of the warrior class, right. So depending on your preference, right, some players prefer to have just one grabbing skill, so it's either Take Down or Apprehend. Okay, but I prefer to use both, right. The reason for that is because against certain classes you need to have at least twice the amount of grabbing skills, right. So Apprehend, right, as you can see from the animation, right, allows you to also grab and slam whoever you are fighting against, and it also causes bleeding damage, right. So every 2 seconds or every few seconds your opponent will bleed. Okay, and okay, I do know of some players that uses Frenzied Dash, okay, but okay, we are not using this for PvP. You can either use this or this, since both of them do serve a same purpose, which is closing the distance, right. even though this does a better job, right, but it is slower. Okay, so do take that into consideration. All right. Okay, and that is all the skills that we're using for PvP. Okay, so I do know that some players, okay, some warrior players are using Scars of Dusk, right, for PvP. The reason why we are not using Scars of Dusk, it is because it is slow. Okay, right, look at the animation, 1, 2, 3, right, so that 3 hits animation, right, if you compare it to, say, ground smash, okay, so ground smash with 1 hit you do at level 29, for example, 425.71% damage, but for Scars of Dusk, each hit only do, right, each hit only does 158%, right, maybe if you round it up, it's 159, right, so, and most players use Scars of Dusk for PvP, right, if they're using that for PvP, only when, right, they have knocked down the opponent. So when someone else is on the floor and you use Scars of Dusk, most of the time you will only have enough time to land maybe 1 or 2 hits of this animation. And it is easy to counter this skill if you're fighting against a warrior, as a warrior, yeah. Okay, we'll show this in action. Okay, we'll show these skills in action. Okay, let's go to a few map, right? So that we can show this in action. Alright, so now we are on a few map, okay, where you can use your skills, right? So before we get into an arena match, right, to show how you can actually use the skills, right, against a real player. Okay, the reason why we want to get out to do a few map is to show you how you can, for example, combo or use certain skills in combination as a combo. Okay, for example, okay, this is shield charge. Okay, so shield charge, as you can see, let's wait for the skill to be charged. Okay, so as you can see, shield charge allows you to dash forward using your shield as a block, okay, while moving forward. So essentially, this allows you to reposition yourself either away from danger, okay, notice that we are moving away, or towards your opponent. So for example, if we lock onto this enemy, we can, from a distance, kind of close the distance or reposition ourselves right up to that enemy using shield charge instantly, right? So that is another usage of shield charge. And of course, you can use it as part of a combo. So for example, if you are fighting against another player, you would usually do something along the lines of this, right? So shield charge followed by spinning slash, right? So as you can see, spinning slash, which is this, right, is a critical, or rather it is a skill that you will use quite often, right? So in addition to shield charge, you can use spinning slash when you have used other skills, for example, charging thrust, okay, which is what we just did, right? Okay, you can also use spinning slash when another opponent is on the ground. Okay, so okay, it is time we pay a visit to the arena to show how some of the skills can be used, okay, as a combo, right? So you get a live demonstration of the warrior, right, and how PvP as a warrior feels like. right? So depending on the class of the player you are playing against, right, sometimes you need to react differently. So right now we are playing against a Giant. So Giant has really good crowd control skills. So make sure that you do not get caught up in it. And so notice that I use Shield Charge to counter him. And okay, so that was a weird desynchronization glitch. Okay, but it's fine. Okay. Oh, okay, that was a funny knockdown from both of us. So let's do that again. So notice that I use Shield Charge again to counter him and to stun him for a split second before we use our grabbing skill. Right? So Shield Charge can be used in that fashion for you to start off or initiate combos, right? So that is also, you can also do that with Charging Thrust or the Piercing Spear, which is what we are doing now, or Charging Thrust, which is what we are doing now, followed by a Buff and Apprehend, and followed by a Ground Smash. Okay, so try not to get carried away, which is what happened to us. Okay, so as you can see, Take Down can be used to counter a lot of skills from other classes. Okay, but as you can see, try not to get carried away, which is what is happening to us here. Yeah, so once again, Take Down saves the day. So as you can see, once again, Shield Charge for the counter and the stunt, follow up by a grabbing skill, right? Okay, let's try another match to see if we can find another class, right, to have a different scenario, right, to show another side of the Warriors PvP. Okay, so right now we are up against another class, which is the Archer, right? So this is a rather good player if I recall correctly. So against the Archer, you need to be careful, right? Because she has the ability to dodge a lot of attacks, and she's much more agile, right? As compared to the Giant, right? And if you're playing against an Archer, right, make sure you do not overcommit, right? So as you can see, we started off the combo with Charging Thrust, followed by Apprehend. And now we are using Piercing Spear, or rather Charging Thrust to initiate. Okay, once again, Charging Thrust, followed by Apprehend. And that seals the deal, right? Okay, so hopefully this video, right, in terms of going through some of the PvP, or rather critical and important PvP skills, okay, and how they can be used, right, as part of a combo against other players, right? Hopefully this information was helpful. And once again, thank you, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Okay, so we will be releasing new videos, right, to help new players as well. So do look forward to that. And as usual, thanks and have an awesome day ahead.